Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Chris Hemsworth, A Road Trip to Remember. Now, Chris has a number of different documentary series and one-shots, and I was wrong yesterday. This is not a series. It is a one-shot kind of special. It's 51 minutes long. It is from 2025, so it's pretty recent. I think this might be one of his more recent ones, other than the shark one, I think. There's one he's with sharks. I'll show it to you here. If you search Chris Hemsworth, you're gonna come up with Limitless, and I never got to Hemsworth. So anyway, there's two Limitlesses and one with sharks, and then there's A Road Trip to Remember. Let's click that. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's this is a special one. This one hits close to home, not just because, well, the other ones hit fairly close to home as well. The Limitless ones. He's kind of struggling with something that he may be facing in the future when it comes to his own health. And because he's been diagnosed with a few things, and this episode, this special, kind of gets to the heart of it. His father, Craig, is dealing with Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's. This is sort of Chris's attempt to help stir up memories, help his father to hold on to memories more easily. He talks to a doctor, where's his name? Suraj Samtani. They have a chat at a football game, or Australian rules football. The Bulldogs is what they root for. My memory's working okay for now. So Chris, who is again very much aware of his own potential condition because he shares a number of chromosomes that with his dad that deal with Alzheimer's. But this is very, very much about his dad, about his memories growing up. We get to go back to all the different places that Chris grew up, and it's not just about his dad, but in a real sense, is if you're a fan of his because of Thor and things like that, you get to go visit the Australian outback. He grew up in the northern end of the country, the northern shore of the country, in the deep into the outback, and also down in Melbourne, down in Melbourne. And you get to meet some of his family members. His brothers don't show up in this, which is strange, but either way. We get to see some history about his dad. His dad was a professional motorcycle rider back in the day, racer. And their little home that they had down in Melbourne it's gone, in a sense that the new people have bought it. They moved out. I imagine they live in a much nicer home now that Thor's paying the bills, I guess, or at least has helped his family out, I'm sure, in various ways. It's not a small paycheck, I don't think. If it is, Chris, you need to talk to your agent. But so, the thing is, part of these kind of memory exercises that help him stir up and hold on to his memories. They head back to their original home that they grew up in, but of course there's people living there, and with the help of the people who are living there currently, they recreated, refurnished, restructured inside and out a number of different things about that home so it reflected what it looked like in the 90s, using photographs from that time. Just looking at different photographs of different walls and things. The arts department for, I don't know, Marvel or some other different studio, whatever, helped put together, recreate it, like props, like the couch. The couch looks exactly like they used to sit on. The bookshelf, just everything looked like it was from the 90s. Even Chris's old bedroom had old video games, and we along the way we get to see Chris's very first film. It was called Croc Hunter. Yeah, he was a teenager. He was doing a Crocodile Hunter spoof because, hey, it's Australia, and he's a hero. Come on. Steve is an icon, even more so than Chris. So so it was not a strange thing for a kid in the '90s to start making home movies of him being. You get to see some of Chris's earliest acting, and this family sits around on the couch and watches that VHS tape from that era. Yeah, some of this stuff is probably brought from home and different places but certain the look, the aesthetic of the house, literally. Imagine you're still not in your the home you grew up in. Imagine being able to go back to the house you grew up in, and it looks exactly like it did in whatever decade you grew up in it. For me personally, when I have dreams, half the time they take place in the place I grew up in, down to the finest detail. And half the time I don't realize it when I'm dreaming until part of the way that I'm like, okay, here's the thing where certain friends I have are in this thing, or people I know are in these scenarios. But wait a second, I'm in a house that none of these people have ever been to, and I haven't been to in decades. Imagine there's people living in my old house. It looks completely different than the house I grew up in. Imagine being able to have that redone in a way, just temporarily, so that when you walk through that door, it looks exactly like you remember it. Wood paneling and everything. So that's what they did for his father, for Craig, and that's one of the more astounding pieces. But again, it's not so much about the bells and whistles of this episode. It is about the relationship between Chris and his father, and also Craig's wife. Oh, I guess I don't know. I don't think it's Chris's mom, but because they don't call her mom, there's a whole thing. But anyway, what we do is we get we in real time while they're filming this and having conversations about memories, about their past, about growing up, about their relationship, about other things, and also meeting other people. When they go back to the bush, they go back and meet some people that Craig used to work with. And even in the middle of the conversation, he loses track of the person he's having a conversation with. He starts talking about them as if they weren't there, even though they're sitting right there. He's like, how about that guy? He's a great guy. I really liked him. He was a good worker. He's really great. And that guy is hearing himself being talked about, even though he's sitting there right in front of Craig. And for Chris, you can see it's a little upsetting, and you do get he does a voiceover that explains what's going on at that time, and it's an emotional thing. And what you get here, you don't see it here, but you see it in the thumbnail, and the thumbnail for my video. There's a photograph that starts off this. It's very important to Chris. That sort of sums up his relationship with his dad, and it's important to this episode. So it's a matter. This is just talking about the relationship between family and people who are, in our lives are getting older, and maybe their memories are not working the way they are, and sometimes it is dementia. It's Alzheimer's that takes it to an extreme way too quickly, and it helps. I think the purpose of this is to see that there are ways you can help to make things easier for that person who's dealing with it, and for the people around them who want to take care of them. There are opportunities to help stir memories and to make things better. And this is all through the lens of just a real family and real people. That, yes, it's a celebrity that is talking about it, but very often we may not watch a documentary about some people we don't even know who's, or they turn it into a reality show or whatever. This is an opportunity for Chris to using his voice, his notoriety as a celebrity, to be able to bring things forward, to make things better known for people who aren't famous or may not have all the resources that he may have. And there's no cure for any of this stuff. It's clear. It doesn't mean there won't ever be, but it shows that this disease is not selective. It can happen to anyone. So you can see that there's no amount of money, there's no amount of fame that's going to protect you from real human health issues. And Chris is doing what he can to make this something that's known to everybody, and also to hopefully help people deal with it a whole lot better. And it's a great thing. So if you get a chance, and if you know somebody who is dealing with Alzheimer's, whether the person themselves or the family that has a member that is dealing with it, maybe you can watch this, recommend it to them, and there's a good couple chuckles here and there as you see Chris just sort of living through his youth, and just seeing the great relationship between him and his father as something that deeply affects him, and he wants to do all he can, and I think we all would want to do that for a family member who's going through this. So I'm hoping that comes a day that fewer and fewer people have to suffer through this kind of loss of memory and just loss of self in some cases. Hopefully what Chris is going through, what his father's going through, is a thing of the past. And we can only hope that can happen with people knowing more about it and knowing how to treat it. And hopefully doctors knowing how to treat it. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 31. And I did not load this up beforehand, so 31, hopefully this document will load fast. 31. I'd say wouldn't it be great if we could watch a Thor movie, but we've already watched all the Thor movies and all the Avengers movies and all the Marvel movies. It's 31, right there at the very top. There we go. This is a documentary. It's a series, I believe. That's the way I have it marked, but I've been wrong before. Let's watch a little bit of history. So this is, again, a majority of the things that I have left here are documentaries, reality shows, concerts, behind-the-scenes stuff, and it's a weird mixture in this category. I never expected it to grow so broad, but the great thing is that within that there is a lot of variety, a lot of different topics, whether it's nature or science or history or anything else. But this is history. This is Genghis Khan, The Secret of the Mongols. A fascinating part of history. Worthwhile checking out, I hope. I hope I learned something. If it didn't, then, well, I'm certainly not a know-it-all. I may look like it, but I'm not. Genghis Khan, The Secret History of the Mongols is what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.